So I'm just going to throw all these in here. There's actually a couple washers in here too. Not sure which. I think those probably are for the outer ones, with the washers on the reverse side. This is the kind of build where we're just doing things that seem to be logically correct. I'm not actually looking at any kind of guide or something. Really, the only guide is that one in the for the backplate. For the actual cooler, you know, there isn't a guide. Well, there is, but not one that comes with it. You have to look online. Which I'm not going to do. I'm pretty sure I got it on correctly. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Put the that's a freaking 8. 12. It probably references to how long they are. So 8 is 8 millimeters, 12 is 12 millimeters. Alright, so that's all those. Let's go and tighten them down. We'll go a little bit at a time on each one. And since we're not using the Waterblock to spread the paste, we don't really have to worry about it too much, the order we're doing these in. If we're using the block to spread the paste, we'd have to worry about the order. We'd have to do the 4 internal ones first. These ones here. Since we already spread it with the applicator, I'm not going to worry about it. There shouldn't be any dissipation in the effectiveness of the cooler either, doing it this way. This backplate's going to be pretty sturdy. Yeah, you don't want to tighten them down too tight. But, I mean, you want to tighten them down so they're, flush with the backplate, obviously. I'm actually going a couple extra cinches down. A few more than I probably should, but this Waterblock's pretty heavy. Okay, so that's pretty much on there sturdy. Let's go and do the middle ones now. I'll have to go down and grab the one that I dropped, I think. Oh no, I got 4, never mind. I did drop one though. Like an idiot. It's one of these 8s. These washers are not quite as annoying as those plastic things on the heat pads, but thermal pads, but almost. So I'd assume they're using plastic washers because paper washers are a little bit more expensive. Or maybe they're not quite as, maybe they have some sort of negative effect that I don't know about. Like a lot of the older boards though, if you look at them, they'll have paper washers instead of like plastic ones. Okay. Yeah, these are the 12s too. And just for the heck of it, I'm going to do it in the proper star fashion. just because, you know, I might as well. It's a good habit to get into, even if you don't need to do it. So you just pick a side, and essentially whatever side you start on, give it a couple twists down, and move to the one directly across from it. And then go to the one above that side. And then to the side across from it. Then you get back up to where you started at. Just a really, it's a nice method for making sure the paste is spreading equally across the die if you're using it to spread the paste, which we're not. But if you are, then here you go. You want to go 2 times without tightening them down all the way. On the third time around, you want to tighten them down all the way though. So like now we're going to go all the way full tighten. I almost got in there. Almost did that. I'm going to go around once more and do this again for all the other sides. Or rather, all the other screws, I should say. Just to make sure everything's nice and tightened down. That one's got a little more on that one now. I'm not going to worry about those back 2 screws. You got like 12 screws on here. Those back 2 on the back end aren't going to really matter that much. There's nothing thermal about this plate. This is structural integrity kind of stuff. Just to make sure the board will be able to handle the massive, oh wow. That should be fine. Some of the pads just kind of had a little slippage. Clean off a little bit of them. I think it wasn't slippage, it was more of a fact that we kind of compressed them down enough to kind of squeeze them, flatten them out a bit. That should be fine. Didn't happen on all of them. I think it might have also happened when I moved it a little bit to kind of readjust it. Might have knocked a couple off kilter a bit. I don't think it'll be that big of an issue. Even if it is, there's still a thermal paste on those chips, and they'll be contacting the the side of this, so that should be fine. So now we need to do something else with this right now, and that's got to deal with this block part on top here. So we need to transfer one of these plugs to the opposite side so that we can have an intake, then have the outtake on the other side. It's going to be this one, the one on the right, that we're going to take off and move to the back. So we're going to get ourselves a larger hex screw. Yeah, it might be this big mother of a screw. Look at this thing. It's like huge. But that might fit in there. Oh, it is. Perfect. First try. It's the exact one we need. So I'm going to switch it to loosen. I'm just going to slowly, so you don't strip anything. Okay, then we're going to switch it to neutral. Yeah, so essentially it's just a plug, is what it is. Just got to flip this over and plug up the other side here. Plug up the back side. Because we don't want anything coming out of the back side here. At least not on this particular side of the back side. So I'm going to go ahead and go give it a nice little extra twist there. It should be pretty well flush and seated and whatnot. So now what will happen is liquid will come in this side, and there's actually a little slot in the middle that it goes down. Go through here, then come back up to here, and come out here into the other card. I'm not going to show me doing the other card because you just saw me do this one here, but I will do that one now, and then we will start recording again. So I want to pop back in and say I did a little bit of a case modification. And when I say case, I mean this one, because this exactly won't fit in here now. Well, what I did was I just went in and added a little extra slot here for the water cooling port. Fits right in. So if you feel like you can do that kind of stuff, which only needs this and a little bit of common sense for measuring twice and cutting once, should be just fine to do that. But we will be back in, I don't know how long, probably a while. So I want to pop back in and say I did a little bit of a case modification. And when I say case, I mean this one, because this exactly won't fit in here now. Well, what I did was I just went in and added a little extra slot here for the water cooling port. Fits right in. So if you feel like you can do that kind of stuff, which only needs this and a little bit of common sense for measuring twice and cutting once, should be just fine to do that. But we will be back in, I don't know how long, probably a while. So here we go. We got them both done there. I actually think I did a lot better on the second one. A little bit worse on the pasting, but I got a little bit more consistent with it. I also brought some Q-tips to get a lot more paste off of the whatever those, like their VRAM modules or something on this section right here. Get more paste off than I did with the other one with the paper towels. And I also got it to where a lot more, didn't have quite as much movement to do when I put the heatsink on and bolted it on the back, bolted it down. There's only one pad that I had to kind of fix a bit. So there you go. 295X owners. You mad? These look a lot better than the 2950X's. And they probably have a lot higher performance too. Because it's not a closed loop system, it's going to be a little more robust. But I'm going to go ahead and stop, pause recording real quick, and I'll get these put away. And we'll move on to installing the Mosfet cooler for the motherboard. Alright, I've got you on an aerial view here so you can see what's going on. We got the Waterblock and stuff down here. So let's read the instructions. This is what we're going to be removing and replacing, is this here. So preparing the board. So yeah, we're going to have to actually remove a lot of this stuff, it looks like. Because this actually goes into this, and we'll have to see what we'll need to do here. So first things first, so we got some screws in the back we need to deal with. Yeah, so it's actually along all this stuff here. I'm not sure what all we'll need to stay off. I guess we'll find out when we get the actual stuff off. So let's flip this over. So the screws they're talking about are these two here, this one here, this one and this one, as well as these two here. There actually should be three. Okay, these three. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws that need to come off. And those are the only ones. None of the ones, let's see here. I'll turn this all around so I can see the actual. So yeah, again, the screw layout is not exactly the same on this picture. Just freaking weird. It's somewhat similar, but they say there's supposed to be like a circular white thing like right around here somewhere, and there isn't. And like one over here somewhere, but there isn't. So yeah, just the regular screw things. So I'll probably take the maybe the one I have on there. Let's see. No, that's the huge one for the yeah, that will work. It's the thing for the plugs on the cards. I think we have to reuse this backplate, I'm not sure, we'll have to see. So I'm gonna make sure I keep these screws around somewhere where I can find them. Pull that off. So you got some thermal padding on the back here. There's some probably RAM controller modules in the back. Put that over there. Then, so this one, these two, and these two. Okay. Alright, so we got those screws off. Let's turn this over. So this part comes off. So I think we're going to be losing this heat sink. We'll have to see what happens here. Yeah, it's all bolted together. Well, actually, you know. Actually, we don't even need it, do we, really? I think this goes on top here. It does a little bit of thing. It does some stuff over here, but it's mostly to for these chips over here. It's like it's an extra heat fin for dissipating the heat, but it's all coming from this here. So maybe we don't need this. I don't know. We'll have to see. So we have the VRAM controllers, the tops of them anyway, displayed here. You also see some of the audio stuff over on this top corner here. Where it was originally underneath the thing, and I'm stabbing myself with the contacts in the bottom of the board. Jeez. Alright, so we got that off. Now we need to place the water block onto the board over the VRAM section. Then fuel factory glued washer, which are these black little things here. You can't really see them on there. So we have the factory backplate, but we have to use the supplied screws on the back of it. So that's what's different here. We could reapply this shielding on top afterwards. We just had to take that off to remove the heat sink from over on this side. So let's go ahead and take this out here. Actually, we're missing one step here, which was the thermal pads. I can cut over that. So let's go ahead and get this out, and then we'll take a look at that. Let's see, remove foil. There's actually a piece of foil on the top of the wall. EK. It's almost the EA Sports of water cooling. Although not as evil as EA. Well, I guess EA, well, EA, yeah, let's say EA. EK, EA. Kind of sounds pretty similar, but they're not as evil as EA is, so. What we have to do now is, this is a little bit different. You actually have to cut the padding yourself to size. And you got two different ones, like I was mentioning the other day. Let's see, the 1mm thermal pad goes over like the back here. You can't really see because I'm pointing. It's like right against here. Well, I'll show you the image they have here. wrong direction. Here we go. Stupid delay on this camera. So the upper box section of that's where the smaller one goes, and the larger one goes on the actual RAM chips. It says also use small drops of fluid. Actually, let me see. I don't know. It doesn't show. Let's see. Scissors. What do you mean? I guess maybe we're not supposed to cut them. I guess that makes more sense, but I guess you could cut them into smaller segments if you wanted to. But I guess we'll just leave them as they are. But we are going to put a little bit of RAM. A little bit of RAM put the rest of this on that. I'm not really sure how I'm going to apply it though. These are really small chips. I'm not even sure. Well, it says that you can if you want to, but I don't even know if I want to. But I think maybe we will, just because. I'm just going to put little tiny dots on there, and then we'll just let the thing spread them out. Though this thing is like as big as like the freaking chips are, so maybe we'll just put it on the spreader and go from there. Let's see how it works out. Maybe I should use a Q-tip. No, that'd probably pollute it, wouldn't it? So we'll just see if I can just put a tiny little dollop on there. It's probably a little bit too much, but it's non-conductive. It's not good. I'll have to use some Q-tips to clean it up a bit. Oh, it's a little too viscous, or non-viscous. It's a little too runny. It's like silly putty almost. It'll just keep coming off if you allow it to. So we're going for maximum cooling because these chips will get extremely hot. Not quite as hot as the Mosfets or the voltage regulators, but these will get fairly hot. And they're also kind of critical in terms of the VRAM. Actually, we used pretty much all of what was on there, so we just go through and kind of spread it around a little bit. It's like going to be hard to do, so come on, this thing is not designed for this. This board, not designed for easy spreading of thermal paste on these things. And again, not many people are going to be doing this. Well, I shouldn't say that, but not many normal people that are probably getting this board. Again, I guess that doesn't really matter because normal people probably won't be getting this board. At least not this revision of this board. Actually, I only need a quarter. Let's get some of this out. Just clean off the spreader. Should probably fold it over a few times. Let's get this stuff off here. I'll have to do some Q-tip action here too. Let's grab a couple. I actually dropped a Q-tip into a bottle of rubbing alcohol once, and I just left it there for like a couple of years, and nothing really happened to it. So eventually, I used up the bottle. The Q-tip came out, and really, it wasn't anything different about it. It just was a little wet. So there's a couple of places where there's a little bit of bleed drip over I'm going to deal with. I think that'll do. I'm going to put a little bit more of the paste on these, a few of these middle ones, because there's not really much there. I mean, there's some, but it's not, nearly as much as some of the other ones. I want to make sure I get a somewhat even amount in all of them. Like, got almost like nothing left in this tube. Another tip for the GPU stuff when you're working on those with the heat pads, just let them kind of sit on top of the thermal paste for a little while, because they'll actually start to kind of harden and attach, if you will. Kind of like cement or something. That'll be fine, I think. That'll be enough. And we're like down to maybe like a freaking micron of this stuff left or something. Yeah, so at least DK decided to send us some along with the Waterblock, because I don't think that'll be enough. That'll be enough for some other things if I have to do a few touch-ups somewhere, but not for the CPU. Okay, so we have this thinner one and the thicker one. The thinner one okay, no, we have to trim these, never mind. It says that it does say that we have to trim these. So this one should be trimmed down enough this one essentially covers all these little, you can't even see these things, they're so tiny on this, I don't think. I'm gonna actually put it down here. Those tiny little dots you see here. Yeah, that right there. That's like almost right in the center of the camera now. That's what the thinner one covers, and then the thicker one covers the actual VRAM chips right there. So we need to trim these down. And I'm not even going to try and measure this because I don't have anything to do that type of measurement with. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. So, I'm just going to make a little slit here. And we're going to base it off of that. Simple as that. I'm going to try and cut this in a straight line. And I think that's a fairly good job, decent job. It's a little bit wonky, but it'll work. Alright, let's go ahead and well, that wasn't good. It's gonna roll right off my hand. See now. See if I can unroll this here. Okay, cool. So this just goes right on top of these. I'll actually try and do them a little closer to those chips. Than what they show, or what actually seems like it should be. Take a little bit off the edges. Don't need all the, let's kind of tamp it down a bit there. Now for the bigger one, which is in the bag. For some reason the other one isn't in the bag, but this one is. No clue why. Need to do the same thing with this. Pretty much the exact same process. So we got to make sure. It's actually a bit more difficult because you got to deal with the paste. So I'm going to try and do this so that it's right, even a little overlapping the stuff that's already out there, the other line. Okay. It's not going to be very straight again, but has gone for perfection. I'd buy something pre-cut. Okay, so we got both strips on, although a little, again, isn't a very good equal job on them, as you can see. There's a little bit of a section here that's a little bit higher, a little bit lower, onto the top, but that's fine. A little overlap will be fine. Or at least I think it will be. I assume it will be. But we'll see what happens. So we get the block here. I want to go ahead and do some decontamination on it. Like I said, decontamination. Get some of that stuff on it. But I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing with the other things here. And take the rubbing alcohol and just go over it a couple times with, let's get this over so we're not throwing rubbing alcohol everywhere. Go over the bottom of the block a couple times, make sure we get anything and everything that might be on it from the factory or me handling it off of there. Easier than some of the other ones to clean, just got to go over it a couple times. Dry edge here. Once we get this installed, I'm going to go ahead and stop recording, and I'll pick up again on Friday when I'll get the CPU. I'll start throwing this stuff into the case and dealing with some of the other issues, such as how the block's going to work, or the water loop's going to work, and also testing out the loop and things like that. So how this goes is actually, I guess we'll do the Waterblock refit. Well, what time is it? What is the time? No, I want. Oh, it's 10:30. Oh, 10:33. I guess we can do the water block too. Do the change out with that stuff. So what we want to do is, okay. So the EK should be facing this way. So, boom, like that. Okay. Drop it right down in there. Alright, let's go and flip this over. Actually, I'm going to hold it while I do it, so line stuff up here. Make sure I didn't brush anything that was important. A little bit of an alignment issue there. So now, the backplate. Go back on top like this. Let's see. So annoying. I want to try and get this right back on top of where they were. And line up the existing holes in there. Actually, that might be about it. So now we got some screws with this. Should be 3. I see 2. Maybe they give you 1 extra. They're using the hex screw head on them. I don't know why these things use all the stuff from the UK uses hex screw heads. It's just weird. There we go. Gonna throw this in there. This one over here. Okay. Now I need to find the right bit. It's showing me the smaller one. No, it's a little too big. Still too big, yeah. Now metal doesn't taste that good, really. I'm just going to go and finger tighten these down a bit so I can get the block tightened on. Okay, there we go, so I can put this down without risking the thing falling off. Then we'll go down and do bolt it down a bit more. Okay. Flip it over to tighten. Okay. And a little bit more again. You don't want to go too far down on these, just enough so it's tight enough that it's not going to come off and the seal will be fine. Just going to turn over and have a look. See how things look. Nice and steady, sturdy. Fits in really well in there. I don't see any kind of expansion out around, which is good. So I think that's going to be good how it is there. Now what I want to do is to reattach the outer shroud here. So let's take this, put it back on. So it has some stuff in there for to protect the sound hardware from interference, according to what I've read online about it from reviewers and technical reviews and things like that. I'm not sure if that's actually the case or if they're just full of crap, but better not take chances. Plus, it's a it's a visual key point on the thing too. So, all right. So these two. Okay, so this one goes here. This one goes up here. Well, no, it's down here. This one here. This one here. This one goes over here. And there should be one more somewhere. There it is, kind of rolled off. I don't think it really matters too much what order they go in, but I'm just to make sure I'm making sure they will go back in the same order they were in, came out in, because just never know with this stuff. I think it's the one. Yeah. It's like with the PS4 and 3 and stuff, certain screws can be longer, but I didn't notice that with any of these, so I'm not sure it really matters. Again, you don't want to over tighten them, just enough to kind of get the shroud back on. Actually, that one probably won't go into anything now because that was going into the screw hold thing for the. There are actually two of them on here, as you can see. Actually, yeah, over here, these two. There's two spots now that are not going to have anything on them, so it's going to be that one and this one here. So actually this one won't go in here either, so two extra screws that you have for using somewhere else. Everything else, all the white slots here, they're actually color coded. All the kind of black washer ring slots are for the heatsink. The white ones are for the shroud, and the kind of white ringed ones are for the some of the hardware in here, I think. So actually interesting. So I guess they did have that in mind, that people would be wanting to replace some things with water cooling. So that's just, Asus has that kind of forward thinking, which is awesome in a motherboard company. I'm not saying that all don't, most are not, that all of them don't, or that most of them don't, but Asus is just a really nice motherboard company. Frankly, I won't be using any other board unless they go out of business, to be honest. Or it's a build that I'm not going to be using personally, like my old rig, the one that I made in 2007. I didn't do a video of that. That one I put a Gigabyte board into, and a Core Duo, I forget which model, after I stopped using it for the server platform for GORO and Cabal, V-Cabal, G-Guns, and L2R Lineage 2R, our private servers. They're running on that now, so everything's back on. A little bit more hollow looking this thing is, because you don't have that huge block in there. I don't know, you know, it could be better or worse, I don't know, in terms of the airflow through there. Who knows? Time will tell. But we got this in here now, so that's good. So all I'm doing is we're going to pause, and I'll bring over the Supremacy Evo, and we'll do the changes for that, and then we'll stop for a minute. I mean, there's literally like pretty much almost nothing left in this tube. Now, this is a pretty big tube of stuff too. In case you're wondering where all the hardware has been going that I've been not using, it's over here. Look at all the screws. When you build things like me, you always have lots of screws left over. In this case for sure, because there's actually double the stuff for the GPU cooling stuff. So we got the Evo here. Let's go ahead and pull out of the case. Ah, what the frick. We got stuff flying everywhere. What the hell? It's just like stuff falling out everywhere. The heck, the bag opened up, that's what happened. Wow. That was very unexpected. Oh, damn Allen wrench. Anything else down here? Nope. Alright, so we won't need any of this stuff to actually get it mounted on the motherboard, so let's go ahead and move that back over here somewhere. Okay. So we got this, we got the plates, and we got the, don't need the back plates for this, so leave them there too. So you're going to have to actually take this cover off of the plate, so before you install it, if you are changing anything in here, be sure to clean off the cold plate. Because we have to get to these screws here to get the thing off of here. Let's go and also take off this foil thing. Cool. I want to go with all EK stuff, but EK's water blocks for the GPU, they didn't have them for the GPU that I wanted. In full-on acrylic. They had this, you know, the half nickel PC piece of crap stuff. So yeah. Alright, let's go and look at the instructions. I already know we have to take the thing off of there, so we get two stuff. I went this side. So, first step. Congratulations on buying our product. General information. Step 2, table of contents. Step 3, optional installing a mounting plate and replacing jet plate. Insert procedure. So place water block on the even surface and remove the 4 hex bolts in there. Probably we'll use this. No, it's a little bit bigger. Let's try this one. Ah, there we go. See, it pays off to have a tool set that includes a crap ton of stuff, because, you know, you never know when you're going to use it all. What if I could do this without actually touching the cold plate? No. I better clean it off. I'll clean it off anyway, just because. The reason I'm going with nickel is really just because it looks better, I think, than copper does through the plexi. Really, they call it plexiglass, but it's really acrylic. Or maybe what's called acrylic is really plexiglass. Maybe it's the same thing and I'm an idiot. I don't know. Any of those 3 possible combinations could be true. The CPU is coming on Friday. I don't think there's anything coming tomorrow unless it's one of my mystery packages. I got 2 of them. The fans from Aerier and the Mayhem's Pastel White, Ice White. Yeah, I was really surprised at Mayhem's. They only ship through Royal Mail, and Royal Mail's, you know, international shipping support is just, you know, let's put it this way, it's ridiculous. It costs something like $80 to get international shipping, international tracking for your shipment. or maybe not 80, but it's like 60 or something. It's like 30 pounds, 50 pounds or something like that. And they don't offer any other kind of, well, they might, no, they didn't offer any other kind of shipping method. Maybe they do for orders that are of a larger size in terms of the actual, contents of the box, but not for my 3 bottles of Mayhem's ice white. So here's the inside of the cool plate. Maybe you've never seen the inside of one of these before. So it's actually got, I haven't, that's for sure. It's actually kind of got like grooves on there or something, probably for greater heat dissipation. You have the jet plate sitting on top of the, there's the rubber ring there. Jet plate sitting on top of this, and then that's on top of the insert here. So what we want to do is we want to take the other inserts, which is around here somewhere, here. So insert 1, insert 2 has the, let's see, what's the difference here? So insert 1, oh, it says it on there. I2, I1, okay. So we just drop it in here. So it's interesting. So it drops in, and then we need the, it's going to be J3, which is going to be the thinner of these. I probably should go through and also make sure that so it's this one's J3. Go and give this one the treatment here. What I want to do though is this is really thin. I want to go over with, like it was really roughly with the other stuff. Might bend it or break it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carefully pour out a little bit of rubbing alcohol on this. I tried doing this earlier and I just totally freaking spilled it everywhere. Overfill it like that. Overfill it a bit. That's just rubbing alcohol. It's not like it will melt off your hand or anything. It's not like an acid. I'll just take one of the existing ones over here that's kind of clean. Just kind of wet down the side of it here. Now what we'll do is I'll just like rub it over the top of it or sit on top of it like this. And take another one of these. Find a clean spot of it and push down with that side of it. Flip it over and do the same thing with this side. Okay. Carefully transfer it over to a dry piece here. And I'm just going to go over the top of it here really gently, get all the residue and stuff off. Alright, so the jet plate here should go in, touch around the very top edges. I think it should go in like that. I could probably bring it down closer for this. Fine. Let's give you some row seats here. Alright, so I'm not sure which direction it goes, if it's that way or this way. I guess it doesn't really matter, it's the same either way. What's really funny though is that this jet plate has these little notches on it, but it's much thicker. This one does not have those notches on it, but it's thinner. And this one also doesn't have notches on it, and it's thicker than this. This is the thinnest one. The thinnest one is J3. They recommend J3i2 for the Haswell processors. for the optimum configuration. So that's all done now. I'm going to move it back a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and reattach stuff here. So you want to make sure that you don't really disturb this ring here. And if you have a little bit, make sure that's just on there properly. Damn. Okay. I'm going to put this bracket over it. I don't think it matters which way it goes on. It's pretty much universal either way. It's over the top. It's right down top there. And take this and put it right over. Again, I don't think it really matters which direction you put it in. Well, I guess it might. And should it be vertical or horizontal in relation to the flow? I think if you put it in horizontal this way, so it's this way with the flow, that would be a little more smooth. This way it would be a little more rough, and that might be more turbulent, and that might give it a little more... I think I'll put it in so it's going to be... let me see, let's look at the diagram here. We were copper-based orientation. Okay, so it should be in horizontal alignment with the holes. So it should be this way. Not vertically, but this way. I guess that makes sense because the water will flow, the liquid will flow through that. And just drops right down on top. Okay, that's still good. Grab our screws wherever I put them to. What did I do with them there, screws? Probably like all flew off all over the place on the floor or something. What the heck, man? It's kind of vanished to thin air. Wow. That's interesting. Oh, they're right here. Duh. Oh, I must be going blind. Okay. Let's see. I did put that on correctly. I want to make sure. Yeah, okay. Damn. Also don't want to knock that out of alignment. Okay. Yeah, the processor ended up costing me, wow, it's a little spinny there. Around, the actual purchase price of it was about 1,010. But after taxes is about 101.1k. I had a chance to buy it for $9.99, but I passed it up because I thought it would go down, not back up. Stupid of me there. Let's flip it to the other mode here. So this you don't have to worry about how you tighten it down. I suggest you do, at least one corner and the other corner just to make sure it's properly not grounded, but it's not going to go all over the place when you're screwing in the other ones. So it's properly lined up. Then just do the other ones down a bit, and then come back through and tighten them all down. Start with this one. I'd say make sure your fingers are nowhere near the edge of the cold plate, because it's gonna, it's going to bolt down pretty hard. I'd assume on top of the not even around this plate section, because it's all going to clamp down pretty much. Get your finger in that, you're going to have a bad day, to say the least. And I'd suggest to bolt these down pretty tightly. Not over tightly though, because you're going into plexi, but at the same time, a little bit more than finger tight. This I think is going into plexi. Looks like it, yeah. Because you want to make sure that you have a good seal on it. You don't want it to leak, especially not from here. Of course, we'll go over that. There's a way to leak test your system without actually turning on anything else except for your pump. But we'll go over that when we get to the build for that. I think this bottom left one for you, bottom right for me is, it feels like it's a little bit, I'm going to go too much further, I think it's going to strip because it's, you know, just kind of turning down there. So I think that's a pretty good, I think it's bolted on there pretty well. Actually, no. I can see daylight. That's no good. We need to go down further on this one. What's going on with that? The cold plate on this side isn't actually touching all the way. It's actually, yeah. So something's not quite matching up in the inside. We're going to take it apart again. See what's going on. Might have the jet plate in backwards or something. We'll have to see. That should be good. Just pull the whole thing, the screws out. No, not quite. These ones are still on a little bit. This jet plate's a little bit screwed up now. Oh, we can fix that. I don't think it'll matter much. Okay, let's see what's going on here. So, okay, we're still recording. My phone just kind of stopped working. Okay. So this goes down on top here, like so. Alright, so now okay, it was actually kind of out of, it was like this or something if you remember it. It's supposed to be straight on, so there, it was a little bit out of alignment. That was my fault. Should have paid a little more attention. I don't think it'll matter too much, so it's only a little bit of a bend.